This is CBC Here and Now.
Canada Day is just around the corner, and so is the federal carbon tax. So get ready for rebate checks and a big jump in your furnace oil costs. That story coming up.
Depending where you are in the province, wildfires in Quebec could be affecting your plans this weekend. Coming up on Here and Now, I'll give you the details.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. We'll get to those stories shortly, but first, this country's Transportation Safety Board will investigate the death of the 5 people aboard the Titan submersible. Meanwhile, one of the world's most famous underwater explorers is weighing in. James Cameron calls the Titan tragedy a nightmare scenario. Now's Heather Gillis is standing by live. So Heather, what's the latest?
Well, Carolyn, the Transportation Safety Board has a crew here in St. John's. They are en route and they are going to be investigating the Titan sub, which now lays in pieces on the ocean floor about 1,600 feet from the bow of the Titanic. The TSB will also investigate the Polar Prince, its mothership, which is a Canadian-flagged vessel. Now, the Polar Prince and other ships that were out joining the search for Titan should sail back through the Narrows here tonight and into tomorrow.
As the U.S. and Canada launch investigations into the deadly Titan tragedy, family and friends of those lost are grieving. The Dawoods lost a father and a son, Shahzad and Suleiman, on Sunday when the Titan sub imploded. In a statement, the family say they're grateful to searchers, calling efforts a source of strength during a difficult time. Hamish Harding and Paul-Henri Narjolet were both on board, both members of the Explorers Club, which says it's heartbroken over the deaths. Deep-sea explorer and filmmaker James Cameron has dove to the deepest depths of the ocean in a sub of his own design. He's been to the Titanic wreck 33 times, spending thousands of hours underwater. He calls the implosion a worst nightmare, something engineers should anticipate. Experts, he says, warn the company of safety concerns, not unlike the Titanic, which too ignored warnings.
I think there's a great, almost surreal irony here, which is Titanic sank because the captain took it full steam into an ice field at night on a moonless night with very poor visibility, after he had been repeatedly warned by telegram, by Marconigram, by radio, during the day that that's what was ahead of him.
Yesterday, the U.S. Coast Guard said Titan imploded, leaving a debris field on the seafloor 1,600 feet from Titanic's bow, meaning the wreck site has now become a grave for 5 more souls. Back on land, the spotlight remains focused on the sub, with international media and the likes of Anderson Cooper at Harborside Park yesterday and today.
So I think there's going to be increasing questions about whether it was right for this company to bring passengers aboard an experimental craft that had not gone through maritime safety protocols that many in the industry was urging this company to put this craft through.
Cooper's presence brought many onlookers here to witness the tragedy and history unfold.
What do you think of the Titan tragedy?
Heartbroken, absolutely heartbroken. It's a big tragedy. We're all feeling it, believe me.
It's such a sad turn of events.
Oh my God, it's unbelievable. Like, who would even, think that, number one, that would happen, but you'd go out in a vessel like that anyway.
Others, like Titanic enthusiast Justine Drover, are holding candlelight vigils for the victims.
Personally, I just wanted to do the least bit I could, just to know that I did something and just to help, show what our province is really made of and why we have the reputation we do of caring so much.
Now, the province is still abuzz with more C-17 aircraft that are military aircraft on the way to the St. John's International Airport at some point today to pick up some of the equipment that has been used to help search for Titan.
And Heather, I just wanted to ask you briefly, you've been covering this story right from the start. It turned international, and we've seen people from around the world descend on St. John's, but I'm wondering, what has this week been like for you?
Honestly, Carolyn, it has probably been one of the most surreal experiences of my life. And, you know, it's not about us. It's always about the story, and for us, the people who are lost and missing, presumed dead at sea, and those who are searching and have been searching for them. But, you know, myself and colleague Ryan Cook and Jessica Singer and Mark Quinn have been, doing media all across the world and across the country, from, the BBC to CBS in the US and, Ireland. It has been just so unbelievable on so many levels, and so many people here in the province have a relationship to the sea, so they deeply understand what it means anytime a maritime disaster happens. But just to peel back the curtain a little bit, it has been absolutely surreal. I mean, Anderson Cooper is just feet from us here from CNN, so it has been just a wild week covering this tragedy on so many levels. Carolyn?
Well, thank you so much, Heather, for all your hard work this week. Great job. Well, one of the 5 passengers aboard the Titan was French oceanographer and world-renowned diver Paul-Henri Nargeolet. He was said to be the leading authority on the Titanic shipwreck. In an interview just a few years ago, Nargeolet himself described the fate of anyone stranded in a sub on the ocean floor.
You can survive for a while because you can stay about 4 or 5 days on the bottom, which not help very much because if nobody can help you, and that 5 days is with the oxygen, with the food, with the water and everything like that. But we know very well that we will die before with the temperature.
Incredible. Well, in other news, with summer in full swing, many are counting down to their weekend, but Canadian wildfires may impact your plans, especially in Labrador. Fires aren't posing a threat there, but there are warnings about air quality. Here now, Sarah Blackmore explains.
You may have noticed something strange in the sky this morning. After making its grand debut yesterday, the sun is now looking a little different here in St. John's today. It's red? Environment Canada has released an air quality statement to parts of the province due to smoke from wildfires in Quebec. In Western Labrador, the smoke is heavy, forcing some people to wear masks outside. The Air Quality Health Index is rated at 10+ for very high risk. That's the worst in the country.
So what we've seen in the Labrador City areas, we've seen air quality health index values quite elevated over the last day or so due to the wildfire smoke coming from fires in Quebec. So we are expecting that to continue throughout today and possibly into part of the day on Saturday as well.
The red sky in these photos from Labrador City make it look like a city on Mars. And it's not just Labrador. People all over the province have noticed a change in the air. In Corner Brook, there's a haze in the hills and an air quality warning from Environment Canada.
For those areas under the statement, we do recommend that people keep an eye on the forecast and keep an eye on the current conditions, and particularly for those people who have underlying conditions. If you are experiencing smelling wildfire smoke, or if you're experiencing a reduction in air quality, it's recommended to limit your outdoor activities as much as possible.
On this map, the wildfires. And here, the path of the smoke that will smother the province for days to come. Environment Canada advises to keep an eye on the Air Quality Health Index this weekend, as this could affect parts of central, western, and northern Newfoundland, as well as parts of Labrador. And even here in hazy St. John's, smoke is in the air. Sarah Blackmore, CBC News, St. John's.
Ryan Snodden in the Weather Center tonight for Ashley, and as we just saw there, special air quality statements, those are in effect for western parts of the island and into Labrador. All we have to do is look at the NASA image from today, and you can see the plume of smoke out of Quebec and rolling in and across the island. That thick smoke in the mix, and that special air quality statement in effect again for tomorrow as that flow will continue. This system bringing some showers tonight and into Saturday for Labrador as well as the Northern Peninsula. And again, just with the nature of that west to southwest flow, we'll continue to see that smoke in the mix. That is set to change though, and it's thanks to this system that's going to be mixing in that air mass with, yes, rain that's on tap for Sunday across the island. Even a risk of some thunderstorms with this frontal boundary as well. And just with the rain, we won't really notice the smoke a whole lot. Certainly not going to notice it as we work into Monday as this area of high pressure moves in, clears things out. I'll get your full weather forecast coming up a little bit later on in the show. Carolyn?
Thanks so much, Ryan. Well, now to some news from the courts. We have more information tonight on a 39-year-old man who's been charged with attempted murder and other violent criminal offenses. Adam Budgell is a serial domestic abuser and sex offender who's left a trail of victims across the East Coast. He was released from prison in 2021 despite being deemed a high risk to reoffend by the Parole Board of Canada. This latest string of charges, including forcible confinement, assault with a weapon, and attempted murder, stem from assaults that reportedly occurred between April and June of this year. Budgell was arrested this week and remains in custody. The province's independent police watchdog is defending its handling of a fatal shooting that involved the RNC earlier this month. Members of the local Sudanese community have been critical of what they say is a lack of transparency. In a statement to CBC News, CERT Director Mike King says the case is of utmost priority and the investigation has been thorough and comprehensive. King says investigators have talked to numerous people, including several in the Sudanese community. Friends of Omar Mohammed say he is the man who died on June 12th, but CERT hasn't confirmed that. Mohammed moved to St. John's from Sudan nearly a decade ago. Sheshatshiu Innu First Nation has a new fully equipped fire hall. The Jonas Ben Rich Fire Hall opened its doors this month. Reporter Heidi Adder gives us a first look and explains the significance and story behind the name.
This hall is the new home for Sheshatshiu Innu First Nations Fire Department. Children got a chance to ride in the big red truck and even got a lesson in safety after being given some smoke detectors and fire extinguishers. The fire chief says it's been a long road to get here.
It all started off with Ben Jonas Rich. His parents died in a house fire along with his two or three children. 3 children, I think. That's how it started off. And he advocated for this community to have a fire department ever since then.
Rich died suddenly in 2018, and the fire hall is named in his memory.
It's kind of late. It's kind of sad that he isn't alive to see this building. But I'm quite proud to have his son do the grand opening for this fire department.
The new building has a kitchen, lounge, TV, and the main garage with space for the entire fire truck, new fireproof gear, washers and dryers, and a specialty gear dryer.
In every house fire, there's some kind of cancerous things that firefighters breathe. And we have to wash the bunker gear right away after each fire.
Ashini hopes having this new space will help the fire department grow. And with instructors coming to train people this summer on the new gear, he's putting out a call.
Whoever wants to volunteer, like everybody's welcome to come and join. If they don't know how to fight fire, at least they'll know how. They'll help out with laying out the hoses or giving somebody a hand, or as long as they know how to roll the hoses, I don't care. As long as they help out. Because it's very exhausting when you fight fires.
Ashini hopes to offer more community outreach on fire prevention now that the community has the space. Heidi Adder, CBC News, Sheshatshiu Innu First Nation.
Well, beginning July 1st, fuels in this province will be subject to federal carbon tax. So get ready for quarterly rebate checks, but also for a steep spike in the price of home heating fuel. Here Now's Terry Roberts has more.
The days of zero carbon tax on home heating oil in this province are about to end. And if you own one of these, you're going to feel it. Prepare to see the cost of a litre of this fuel increase by just over 17 cents on July 1st, plus HST, so it's actually closer to 20 cents. Happy Canada Day to the 40+ thousand homeowners in this province who heat their homes with oil. Oh, and by the way, by 2030, that's just 7 years away, the carbon tax on a litre of furnace oil will be 45 cents. And that 11 cent per litre provincial carbon tax we're paying today, well, that's going away. But it's going to be replaced by a 14 cent federal fuel charge. Another bump at the pumps by 3 cents. And by next April, add another 4 cents per litre for the carbon tax. See the pattern? That's just two of the consequences of a decision by Ottawa to impose the federal carbon tax on gasoline, diesel, and home heating fuel in this province. It means the Made in Newfoundland and Labrador carbon pricing system is coming to an end, and so are the exemptions associated with it, most notably the tax break for those who heat their homes with oil. The provincial government opposed being lumped into the federal carbon tax system and had managed to avoid it for more than 4 years. And since the provincial government will no longer be collecting the carbon tax on fuels, that money is also gone. 113 million last year alone. It's all part of the federal Liberals' plan to cut greenhouse gas emissions by 40% of 2005 levels by 2030 and achieve net zero emissions by mid-century. The logic behind carbon pricing is to incrementally make fuels more expensive and encourage a shift toward low carbon options like electric vehicles or electric heat pumps. But there's a strategy to soften the blow. Here's how it's supposed to work. As the carbon taxes go up, the rebates are also supposed to increase. Now get used to this name, Climate Action Incentive Payments. These tax-free payments will be issued quarterly to individuals and families to offset the cost of pollution pricing. They're already available in Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Ontario. And beginning July 1st, eligible residents in Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, and Newfoundland and Labrador will receive payments. An adult in this province will be eligible for $164 every 3 months. A spouse will receive $82, while a child under 19 will receive a payment of $41. For a family of 4, that's $1,312 annually. And there's also a 10% rebate bump for those who live in small and rural communities. That's important in this province. All you do is check the right box on your tax returns to qualify for that extra cash. And that first check, well, they arrive next month.
Everybody's going to get a sizable check 4 times a year.
The federal government says most people, 8 out of 10 in fact, will be better off financially under the carbon tax thanks to the rebates. But if you're pulling up to a gas station every other day, or you're heating a drafty home with oil, you're not likely to be in the carbon tax winner's circle. Terry Roberts, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, the province worked to prevent the carbon tax from including home heating oil, but the opposition leader says this tax will also impact the cost on diesel, gas, and aviation fuel, which will add to already expensive goods in this province.
So just saying across the board it's going to be an 18 or 19% increase, it's not going to be accurate here, because now 4 or 5 entities have got to add their costing to any product that they're going to bring or get to Newfoundland and Labrador, have a devastating effect on all Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. The cost of living in Newfoundland and Labrador is going to increase. Those on fixed incomes, think about it now. We're already in a devastating situation with the cost of goods and services in this province. Now you add on anywhere from 20 to 30 to 35% of an increase. People on fixed incomes are again going to have to decide between healthy eating, heating their homes, or medications that they're going to need. They're obviously going to have to wipe out any social life that they would hope to have as part of their well-being. So we're going to have a devastating situation in Newfoundland and Labrador, and it's unfortunate that this administration is doing nothing last 2 years, they were touting this as a made in Newfoundland and Labrador deal that would be beneficial to the people in Newfoundland and Labrador, would address the carbon emissions issues, which we all now see. Taxing people does very little, if anything, for Newfoundlanders and Labradorians to be more aware of how they can be carbon friendly and how they can support the environment. So this doesn't work in any way, shape or form.
Now, the province has been opposed to the carbon tax and was vocal about it with Ottawa. But in the end, Finance Minister Siobhan Coady says there's not much they can do.
Well, certainly Ottawa said that they are changing the program that they allowed previously. So we had exemptions previously, but they are saying they're demanding those exemptions go away. And we've said to them, look, the price point on fuel today is high. It is having the effect of people really looking at how much they're driving. People are starting to look at electric vehicles. The province of Newfoundland and Labrador are incentivizing people to make sure that they use electric vehicles, that they move from oil to electricity. But the federal government is saying, no, their climate action plan is calling for this huge increase in carbon tax. We're saying the price point is there now that you're starting to see that change in behavior. They're saying, nope, you're going to have this backstop now. The federal government is imposing this requirement to remove these exemptions. The provincial government has no choice but to do that. That's why we repealed carbon tax in the House of Assembly during the last session and are saying to the people of the province this burden is going to be placed as of July 1st. And, it's difficult. It's very, very difficult in the people of the province, especially during these times.
And still with the fight against climate change, the 4 Atlantic premiers issued a statement this afternoon asking for an immediate meeting with Justin Trudeau to discuss concerns about new clean fuel regulations. Like the federal carbon tax, the regulations take effect on July 1st. Now, the premiers say the regulations will unfairly burden Atlantic Canadians with increased costs for fuel and other essential goods and services. They're asking for a delay in adopting the regulations until the impacts are better understood. Well, you never know what you may find in a fishing net. Harvester Roy Murphy of Long Harbour caught something unexpected in his herring net, a shark. At first, he thought he snagged a great white, but later learned it was a poor beagle shark. Here's Murphy describing the encounter to our colleagues at CBC Radio's The Broadcast.
The shark I got in the net this morning, I'm thinking it's a great white. He's not very small.
We're looking at, I would say, about a 300 to 400 pound poor beagle shark. It was all white. It was dead in the nets, and it fell to the bottom. And my friend was with me, and he threw down a little grappling hook, and he hooked the friggin' thing. And we managed to, as you can see, we towed it in. Huge sharks. The ones that I get in the fall of the year now in the mackerel nets are anywhere from 20, 30, 40 pounds. But this one, that's a biggie. South of Crawley's Island, what we call the Wild Shore. It was in about 7 fathoms water. He was rolled up. He was rolled up in the herring net. He destroyed the herring, and I can show you that there. Whatever, it's neither here nor there. And that's it. He fell out of the net, so we jigged him up and brought him in. So DFO Science is coming around. I think Jack Lawton and someone else. So they're going to take samples, gut them, and I'm going to throw them out and feed the lovely bald eagles.
What a beast.
I'm live tonight in Stephenville. This is Colleen Connors, and I'm sure you can hear the music behind me. This place is bopping, and it's all about the Arts NL Awards. I'll have all the details for you on those 6 awards. That's coming up.
A warm one across most of the province today, and that will be the case yet again tomorrow before a cool down. We'll get your full weather forecast coming up in a few minutes.
Well, it's a special night for the arts community in this province. We're less than an hour away from the Arts NL Awards, recognizing various artistic accomplishments. Here Now's Colleen Connors is live tonight from the Arts and Culture Centre in Stephenville. So Colleen, tell us more about tonight's event.
Hi, Carolyn. Yes, this little lobby here is really starting to fill up tonight. We've had this big reception happening behind me. People are piling in, getting ready, and it's all about this big Arts NL award show, which is going to be so lovely tonight. Now, the Arts NL is all about promoting and fostering arts in the community in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador, and it's all about their show that's going to take place here at the Arts and Culture Centre tonight. Now, get this, the show is sold out. We've got a packed house, 7 live performances, including Sherman Downey, and we're going to get a taste of a play from the Stephenville Theatre Festival, so a full night of entertainment. But the big focus, of course, is the 6 NL Arts Awards, and to tell me all about those tonight, I'm going to introduce you to the Executive Director. Melanie, would you like to come join me here? This is Melanie Martin, and she's the Executive Director of Arts NL. Hi.
Thank you for being here, Colleen. This is wonderful.
I'm so glad you were able to join us. So tell us a little bit more about how excited you are to be here tonight.
Well, we're excited to be doing a live show in person for the first time in 3 years, and there's been such a buzz in this community. We arrived yesterday, and everywhere we go, people are talking about what's happening this weekend, and that's a beautiful thing. So what we kind of organized this time was a really nice mix of regional performances, as well as some of the nominees and the bigger names that are coming from elsewhere. So you've got a great mix of folks, and so people are going to come and see people from their own community who are performing as well. So we're thrilled to be here hosting the 38th Annual Arts Awards right here 38 in Stephenville. Yeah.
And you said live, which I think is a really important thing, and because you've got people in the audience again after what, 2 years?
Almost 3. We haven't done a live show since early 2020. Ask any artist, performing artist, they can perform, in their kitchen, and they can perform, on a camera, but there's nothing like the energy of a live audience. So the fact that we've got pretty much a sold out, packed house tonight, I think speaks a lot to the fact that the community, people are ready to come out and see art again and celebrate artists, and that's what we're here to do.
Absolutely, isn't that so true? So there are 6 awards that are happening tonight, and they focus on education in the arts, emerging artist of the year, and they really must have such a strong impact. 6 awards. Tell me more about what these awards mean.
Yeah, you hear about there's awards all the time, big Canadian awards. These awards are super special to our artists. Artists, to be chosen and selected by your peers. There's a number of things that go with that. It's that recognition of your achievement done by your peers, I believe, is something that is more special for them. And for us at Arts NL, we believe, our mandate is to foster the promotion, enjoyment, creation of arts for all Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. But supporting those artists on their artistic journey, that, having these awards is a way to do that. It's a fantastic confidence booster. It's something, you put on your resume that you're an Arts Awards nominee. It means a lot. It's meaningful to the community.
Absolutely, and I'm so excited to see the show tonight. I'm sure you are as well. Thank you so much for giving us a little taste of what this is all about tonight.
Thank you so much for being here. It's going to be a great night. You can tune in on our Arts NL YouTube page if you want to see it live.
Perfect. So Melanie, I just want to say thank you again. This is Melanie Martin. She's Executive Director of Arts NL. And of course, we've got to get ready to get in that studio in the stage there and watch this whole performance. And you can see all of our coverage on CBC on our website, cbc.ca/NL. Live in Stephenville tonight with Melanie. I'm Colleen Connors for Here and Now.
Ryan Snodden back in the Weather Center tonight, filling in for Ashley, and another nice day across most of the province today. Again, that smoke in the mix today, but overall, temperature's the big story. 29 in through Central. You can see 28 in Gander, Terra Nova, 22 in St. John's. 3rd straight day at 20 degrees. All you had to do was wait, and now they're coming. But we are looking at a cool down, at least temporarily, into the Monday time frame. But overall, the weekend looking fairly mild as well. 7 in Nain, you can see temperatures into the low 20s, Labrador City, and into Happy Valley Goose Bay. Now, the special air quality statements do remain in effect for Saturday. But as I mentioned a little earlier, we are going to be seeing a fresher air mass come in as an area of high pressure moves through on the other side of this front that's going to be settling through the region with some rain on Sunday. You can see all that sunshine in the mix today, and of course the smoke. We are looking at that system that is primarily trucking through Labrador, and then will be working its way from west to east across the region over the next couple of days. Note the showers tonight through Labrador as we work our way into tomorrow. More showers in Labrador, edging into the northern peninsula as we move into the afternoon. But note the island is dry, and looking at a fairly nice day overall. Temperatures tonight are going to be quite mild, ranging from 11 to as mild as 15, 16. Grand Falls, Windsor to Gander, Terra Nova. Showers and a risk of some rumbles of thunder tracking through Labrador tonight. A couple of thunder boomers not out of the question in and along that frontal boundary, so just be mindful of that as we look into the Saturday time period. Again, clouds and showers with that front coming through. It looks like Cartwright will be on the other side of the front, so it's just 10 degrees there, 5 in Nain, but into the 20s. Happy Valley, Goose Bay to Labrador City and across the island. Again, those showers edging into the northern peninsula and the Strait by the time we get to the Saturday afternoon time period. But a lovely day across most of the island tomorrow. Temperatures ranging from 18 to 22 for southern areas, and we'll be into the mid-20s for most of the region. And yes, some high 30s central. A little cooler, of course, in and along the exposed southwest winds for places like the Avalon, Argentia, Placentia, down towards Trepassey. No question about that. So be mindful of that. Now, as we look into the Saturday night, Sunday time period, there comes that front, and it will fill in Saturday night. So, of course, Tely 10 Sunday, keeping an eye on the forecast. Looks like certainly it is going to be dry to start Sunday, and then we will be watching those shower chances increasing through Sunday morning, and then some rain rolling into the Sunday afternoon time period. But at this point, it looks like they should hold off for a good portion of the race. So that's the good news there. As we move into this Sunday evening time period, the rain and the risk of a couple of rumbles of thunder through the later parts of the day as that front does settle through, and that'll bring some steadier downpours as well. Clearing out on the other side of that front for Labrador. So back into some sunshine there. You can see temperatures still near 20 in St. John's, and overnight lows will be into the teens. So race time should be at least warm, but not too hot for those Tely 10 racers, which is good as well. So Sunday, you can see the rain will continue into Sunday night, and then that front sinks southward, area of high pressure, flexing its muscles and really clearing us out into the Monday afternoon time period. So we're back into the sunshine by the time we get to Monday afternoon, and that wildfire smoke will be pushed off to the south, at least for a couple of days here. It looks like a nice, fresh air mass. How does it play out 7-day forecast, 5-day forecast wise? Well, we are looking at, again, that clear out for Saturday and nice clear skies for Saturday rather, showers for Sunday, and that, nice fresh air mass back into the 12, 13 degree range for Monday, but back into the 20s it appears by the time we get to Wednesday of next week. Central, looking at those, of course, showers Sunday, even some steadier periods of rain, risk of a rumble of thunder, clearing out for Monday, back into the 20s by Tuesday there. And into western parts of the island, shower chances and periods of rain for Monday, or for Sunday rather. Again, a bit cooler as we move into the early stages of next week, but looks like we will see those temperatures starting to rebound. And into Happy Valley, Goose Bay, Eastern Labrador, we'll see those showers even lingering into the Sunday time period. Nice looking Monday, Tuesday with showers back on tap for Wednesday. Similar story for Western Labrador with showers tomorrow. Then in a nice little stretch, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday with showers returning by the time we get to Wednesday. That is your forecast to now. Have a great weekend.
that's not the outcome anyone wanted. Yesterday, the search for Titan took a tragic turn when wreckage was discovered, and it was determined the missing sub and its 5 crew members were lost. Filmmaker James Cameron has completed more than 30 dives down to the Titanic wreck. As he told CNN's Anderson Cooper last night, he and others had serious concerns about Titan's capabilities.
I think there's a great, almost surreal irony here, which is Titanic sank because the captain took it full steam into an ice field at night on a moonless night with very poor visibility, after he had been repeatedly warned by telegram, by Marconigram, by radio, during the day, that that's what was ahead of him. And so I think we're also seeing a parallel here with unheeded warnings about a sub that was not certified, where the entire deep submergence community actually, or not the entire community, but a large number of them got together to write a letter to OceanGate, the company, and say, we believe that this could lead to catastrophe. It was less a criticism of the engineering than of the process, but it contemplated the fact that the engineering probably wouldn't pass muster from a certification bureau. And so they were trying to head this whole thing off. It was our worst nightmare. I mean, all of us in the deep submergence community, people like myself that pilot subs and design subs, implosion is obviously the specter that looms over us all the time. But because of that, that's the thing that you engineer for the most years in advance. So that should never be the problem. I've never believed that if I was going to have a serious problem in a sub, that it would be implosion. Maybe entanglement in a fishing net, maybe a fire from the electronics. Hard to rule those things out. Implosion, absolutely not. Especially with modern finite element analysis and computer-aided design.
So, Anderson, just a fascinating interview that you did last night with James Cameron. There are so many theories, as I said right now. What was the thing that stood out to you in terms of that interview?
He's somebody who obviously has incredible experience. He's actually gone farther underwater, I think, than just about anybody in a craft he himself designed. And one of the interesting things he talked about last night is that, like the Titan, the craft he designed was by his own specifications. It didn't go through the traditional maritime safety checks. But he said the difference is he would never have taken passengers on board the craft that he himself designed, that he was willing to take that risk. So I think there's going to be increasing questions about whether it was right for this company to bring passengers aboard an experimental craft that had not gone through maritime safety protocols that many in the industry was urging this company to put this craft through.
There are so many folks around us right now here in St. John's. There's been so much attention on this city and just this search and rescue operation, which unfortunately is now a recovery for the past several days. Why do you think the international community has so much interest in this story?
Well, certainly, look, the history of the Titanic is extraordinary and has captivated people from before. People were captivated by the Titanic at the time. It was such a groundbreaking ship and, allegedly unsinkable, and obviously what happened on board and all the movies that have been made of it since. But I think certainly the idea that, a new experimental craft would have that you would have another disaster on the site of the Titanic disaster is just sort of this extraordinary confluence of events. And I think all of us can imagine the horror of being in this small craft, and particularly the last several days when people thought there was a chance they were still alive. I think all of us, at least I certainly did, imagine myself in that and what that would be like. I think there is no good that in this story in what has happened, but certainly now we know that if this was an implosion, it was so instantaneous that it's likely their brains were not even able to react to it, that they wouldn't even realized it was happening. It would have been over. It happens in milliseconds, the speed of an implosion like that, the force of it. So if there was one saving grace in all of this, is that there likely was not suffering on board that craft in the final second. So, but it's, I just think it's an event that all of us can kind of imagine ourselves being in and wondering what that would be like.
The 95th annual Tely 10 is coming up this Sunday. It's happening a little bit earlier than usual. Coming up, we'll speak with some runners, some volunteers, and the organizer. The 95th annual Tely 10 is coming up this Sunday. There are a few runners who will be vying for this trophy, but for most of the participants, it's about more than just the race. How many Tely 10s have you done?
Well, I've done 43, and this year will be my 44th.
Why do you keep coming back?
Just the fun of it. I love to run. I've run since high school.
I think it's one of those great community events, and it's known farm-wide. And personally, it's an opportunity to set a goal and achieve it, hopefully. One way or the other, I'll cross that finish line.
You're running and you're volunteering. Yes, yeah. Why do you enjoy volunteering?
Well, meeting the people, and it's like I describe it, like a week or so before the Tely, like it's a fever that takes over certain aspects of St. John's, and you just get so caught up in it, right? And now, mind you, volunteering takes a couple of minutes off your time because you're on your feet and everything. But I'm willing to sacrifice those couple of minutes. I'm not going to be very fast anyway, right?
Just the energy and the spirit of it all, and the community of runners, because we after running it so many times, I know a lot of them, right? But I know they need the help, and I think it's a healthy, wonderful sport, so I like to do it.
And joining me now is George Stanoyev. He is the Executive Director of the Newfoundland and Labrador Athletics Association. So tell me, how is the Tely 10 looking so far this year?
Pretty good. We're in a good shape this year. We're about 2,600 participants. We have the usual support from the 3 municipalities. We have all the big organizations like RNC, the Department of Transportation, a lot of volunteer groups supporting us. So we're pretty much ready for the event and looking forward to it.
It's a little bit earlier this year than normal. Why was that decision made to change the date?
Well, after last year's the hot wave that we had, the high temperatures, which was set records for July, we had no choice but to move the event to another date. We looked at moving it early. We also looked at having it later in the fall. We settled on moving it 4 weeks early, just for 1 year. We'll evaluate at the end of the race and we'll see where we'll end up for next year.
And how is the weather looking for this Sunday?
Rain periods of rain, and about 20 degrees.
So are they good conditions for racing?
Yeah, pretty good. I think that the runners will probably like a little bit cooler than 20, but I think early in the morning it might be more like a 16, 17 degrees, which will be fine.
Is there any concern about changing the date and whether you'll lose or have fewer participants because of the change?
Yeah, definitely we have impact. We noticed it, and so we're concerned about it. However, we had no choice but to change the date, and it's a 1-year trial basis. We'll evaluate and we'll see where we are. Certainly, the amount of time for training is reduced. Typically, we have a 12-week training schedule. Now with the late spring and the summer hasn't been very good so far. A lot of people haven't been able to train, but I hope they will overcome it, and I think that we'll have a great event on Sunday.
One benefit I heard about that is that folks will then be able to get the race done and then be able to enjoy the summer afterwards. So instead of training right through, they'll have more of the summer to enjoy.
Well, yes, the Tely is a bucket list event, and we are proud of that, and we're really happy about it. But yeah, now that we have it 4 weeks early, definitely they will have July and August to enjoy in the good weather.
How do the numbers of participants compare this year so far to past years?
Well, you have to look at it before COVID and after COVID. As a matter of fact, you have to look at it before the economic impact back in 2017-18. When we were hit, we lost quite a few people moving back to the mainland. Then COVID hit, and the last 2 years have been very difficult. But we're in the reset mode of looking to rebuild it and looking forward to a good few years coming up. Looking forward to the 100th Tely 10.
And there's been a lot of talk about air quality lately and the wildfires. Is there any concern about how that might affect the runners this Sunday?
Well, we are concerned, and we've been monitoring it closely. Most of the smoke will move north of Avalon by Saturday night, so we hope that race day, the air quality will be good.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, it's Friday, so let's find out who's celebrating. Happy anniversary to Judy and Wince Wilshire. They've been married for 54 years. Wishing George and Maxine Lewis a happy 56th anniversary tomorrow. Happy 62nd anniversary to Percy and Selena Stacy of St. Lawrence. Congratulations to Roy and Florence Park of Deer Lake on their 51st anniversary. Wishing Herb and Murtis Spurl a happy 55th wedding anniversary. Happy 61st anniversary to Sunny and Norma Savory of Port aux Basques. It's a golden anniversary for Lorraine and Herbert Rowe of Corner Brook. Best wishes to Frank and Shirley Sturge of St. John's, who are celebrating 59 years of marriage. Happy 63rd anniversary to Alec and Ella Noseworthy of Fortune. Congratulations to Randy and Mary Royal from Mount Pearl. They're marking 50 years together. Reverend Nelson and Vita Chapman of Grand Falls, Windsor are celebrating their 52nd wedding anniversary. Happy 50th wedding anniversary to Roger and Joan Cran of Labrador City. Wishing Ross and Geneva Ivany of Mount Pearl a happy 63rd anniversary. Happy 54th anniversary to Dennis and Sharon Dunn of St. John's, now in Stratford, PEI. Congratulations to Bill and Betty Hayter in St. John's. They're celebrating 67 years together. Marge and Jeff Windsor of Happy Adventure are celebrating their 50th anniversary. Congratulations. Happy anniversary to Bob and Juanita King. They're marking 65 years of marriage. Happy 57th anniversary to Booney and Ginny Lethbridge of Clarenville. Wishing Doug and Tina Chater a happy 62nd anniversary tomorrow. They're in Mount Pearl. Congratulations to Sandra and Don Reed of Blaketown. They're married 50 years ago today. Happy 50th anniversary also to Brenda and Randy Spurl of St. John's. Now to some birthdays. Best wishes to Roy Maybe of St. John's, who is celebrating his 92nd birthday. Happy 90th birthday to George Clark of Long Pond, CBS. Mita Watkins is celebrating her 96th birthday tomorrow. She's from Cottlesville and now lives in Lewisport. Wishing June Blackmore in St. John's a happy 91st birthday. Happy 92nd birthday to Ethel McNeil from her friends and family in CBS. Happy 99th birthday to Marjorie Cole Perry of Point of Bay, now in Grand Falls, Windsor. Best wishes to Nita Stratton of Valleyfield on her 90th birthday. Happy birthday to Barbara Shepherd of Grand Falls, Windsor, who just turned 95. And happy 93rd birthday to Catherine Rowe of Pasadena. Another fine crowd. Congratulations once again. That about does it for us this week. What a busy news week. Thanks so much to Ryan Snodden for filling in for Ashley. Always a treat to see our old friend, right? And good luck to everyone with the Tely 10. And if you're in Labrador, keep an eye out for those air quality warnings. Have a great weekend.